So, ready?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Hello, Elena. Thanks for coming. You certainly have a big background in data analysis and everything data related and management and analysis of all that. So tell me about your experience working with data and what you do now.
Thank you for the invitation, Pat. I'm so happy to be here. So good afternoon, everybody. So my name is Elena Alikhachkina, and I'm a global data leader with experience of over 25 years, ranging across global countries and global companies. I had an experience working for really amazing companies, for companies like Dow Jones, News Corp, Johnson & Johnson, then Nestle, most recently with Roche. So definitely have really diverse background. So I'm currently working as an advisor for a big group of chief data officers and board executives on a digital strategy and how the digital and data can drive us to the future.
And you were chief data officer.
Yes, I was a chief data officer multiple times.
Okay, which companies?
So most recently with Danone, I was a chief data officer, and for Roche, I had expanded responsibilities that which included data and the digital technology as well.
Okay, great. So you're certainly the right person to talk to. What are some of the challenges in manually collecting data from multiple sources and then aggregating it, analyzing it, and storing it?
I think it's a fantastic question to start from. It's really time consuming, because you can look how the growth of the business is happening right now. After pandemic, we all realized consumers and customers are demanding really different interactions. So they demanded interactions on digital channels, and number of channels are exponentially growing every day, right? So the second one is it's really costly exercise, because if you have to look across so many different sources when you collect your data, it's becoming really costly if you do this in a manual way. So another, by the end of the day, if you don't collect the data properly, it's becoming really inaccurate data. So if you have inaccurate data, people are gonna lose the trust in data really quickly, and you're not going to be able to drive business results. So these are the key challenges. So I think one of the biggest challenges is definitely the data not being accurate, which also can include the people factor and technology factor, right? But by the end of the day, it's a fear of using this data, right? And as more sources we have, as more we're driving into digital economy, this fear is going to continue increasing, right? Because we're also going to be feeling that we're not in control at this moment of time. There is so much unknown that's happening. Also, if you look at complexity, and I had an honor working for the companies with really distributed operations. So in any given moment of time, you need to have an ability to see how your company are performing across the globe. Right. So, and this is where from the data management, it comes with all challenges, right? So the time zone difference, the currency difference, the measurement difference, the business model, go-to-market business model is different, right? So it's really complicated to manage and show this in different ways. Plus, during the COVID time and after the COVID time, we do see that many companies entered into transformation. And some aspects of this transformation are requiring to look at the business, like P&L of the business from different angles, right? So for example, like global franchise or local market P&L, right? And traditional way to manage this, it's looking to SAP systems, and it's gonna take many years to rebuild your logic and show the business in a different way. But the time is not waiting. Consumers cannot wait, right? So these are some challenges which you have to manage as a data leader.
Okay, thank you. What do you define as resilience and automation with respect to data analysis?
Resilience is a fantastic question. So I have a really interesting history with resilience. Many years ago, I've been running workshop about resilience at work, and this workshop brought a lot of interesting discussions. So I think it's totally relevant to data. Resilience means that you, like how you feel in control, right? And for data, what the challenges I described, it's exactly about how you're going to start feeling in control when you have all the complexities going on, right? And how you develop your data capability or data capacity to deal with all the challenges, to deal with a lot of unpredictable factors, right? And automation is definitely core here, because I would say automation could be viewed as a mechanism that you as a chief data officer or data executive or data analyst at any level of organization, you can actually start feeling that you have a control and you're not a victim in this situation, because unfortunately, many data leaders, they feel victims because they cannot see like what is happening on all levels, right? So from automation perspective and overall building resilience, for myself, I identified several critical factors of the success. So the factor number one is when you go into exercise to have your more resilient data strategy, data management, and have an automation build, think about realistic plans, right? So the sky is the limit. And if you're going to involve external consulting companies, big companies, and this is usually happening, to really identify your strategy, they can give you really perfect strategy, right? But they're not going to give you execution plan, right? So execution plan is going to be key. And when you're going to start building this plan, from the beginning, you have to accept this is not the final plan. So this plan is going to change. And from my experience, probably the first year in a journey, this plan is going to change at least 3-4 times. So this is the statistics, and this statistics is really resonating with a startup experience as well, because when startups are building the business ideas, changing 3-4 times during the first year. So this is exactly with big implementations, and big companies do not think about that. My implementation, which I defined today, is going to be the same. So it's going to be adjusted 3-4 times during the first year. So just accept it. So when you identify how you personalize, where you start, and I do observe that many companies tend to start from areas which are creating the most of the trouble, right? So, and this could be the areas of some specific data sets, could be some regions which company believe they have to put first into implementation for different reasons. Maybe this is the biggest region by revenue, maybe this biggest region of data challenges. So my advice actually start from areas where you are good at. So start from the best, right? So if you have any specific data types when you have a really big expertise, when you already have reliable governance, where you have people who understand the processes. So start from success areas, because success areas you can move pretty quickly, and you can also learn from success areas how you can start operating more complicated markets or more complicated data pipelines, right? So then avoid to look at the problem as impossible. So I keep hearing this all the time. We are so unique. Our region is so unique. So then we cannot manage data this way. So our business model, go to market, is so unique. So then we cannot do this. So this is not the right attitude. Honestly, the technology advanced so much, then everything is possible right now. Everything you can imagine is possible, right? So the question is going to come into how you're going to do it, how much is going to cost to you, right? And what are decisions you have to make in a company about your business model, about the people with the company, and about your data strategy as well, right? So another recommendation, which I'm gonna tell, which is actually building in resilience and automation, we often believe that we can build everything ourselves, and yes, it's possible. You can definitely build your proprietary system of automation. You can build your own data lakes, and many companies are doing this, right? So I strongly recommend accept help. So this worked so many times for me, right? So accept help, and this help could come from first of all, people in your company, right? So people in your company, look across different divisions who needs to be included, and accept this help. So second of all, the biggest help you can accept from outside. So why is it important to accept the help from outside? Companies whose business model is to make an automation technology, automation solutions, they have been running thousands of cases. So they already have some accelerators. And when you have a discussion with them, one of the questions you really have to ask, how you can help me to accelerate, right? And really go deep into this acceleration topic, right? So based on your model, based on your challenges, identify what acceleration mechanism these companies have, right? So maybe they have some APIs and agreements with big providers, and you can easily utilize them, right? So maybe they already have the special monitoring mechanism, and you don't need to build your own one. You can simply use what they already built it, right? Also, you can use them to benchmark your activity, right? So you can ask actually external providers to help to benchmark your operational plan, and when you can benchmark through the plan, you can actually compare yourself. You can see if you're achieving results, if you're performing, if you're underperforming, right? So external help is absolutely critical. I honestly think that the role of chief data officer, 50% should be looking external, not internal, because being internally, it's really limiting us to be successful, right? And monitoring the progress, right? So this is what I already said, right? So you can monitor your progress through benchmarking, right? But you can also monitor your progress towards the objectives and goals you put it in place. So the good news, operating in data space is highly measurable. It's highly measurable. You can measure. So people, I mean, first of all, you can measure the technicality, right? So did you decrease the time of load your data? Did you increase the accuracy of your data, right? So I had in my past, depends on the relationships and markets, right? So like, for example, I found Japan is highly sensitive into data loads, right? And we had a monthly report with one of my companies where we have been highlighting every day what is the state of data, right? And if we have been 10 minutes late, it was actually viewed as a negative, right? So which you can think about 10 minutes, what is 10 minutes, right? But when you look at the cultural aspect, you have to consider how people view certain activities, right? And plus, monitoring is also can help you, as you said, changing your, adjusting your objectives over the time.
Okay, great. Now, sometimes companies implement something big or big projects, and this is certainly would be a relatively big project. What strategies can help you feel more in control in terms of automation?
Yes, some of the strategies I already mentioned, right? So this is definitely including the realistic plan. It's including accepting that it's not going to be the final plan, right? So, and the factor of the partnerships, right? So I think I would add, we need to talk about the people factor, right? So because the people factor is usually comes last, right? So, and when we communicate our transformation and we communicate automation, what I'm usually hearing and observing, that this is communication about savings, right? So we can save space, we can save time to load data, we can save on people, we can save on the cost of technology, right? All of this is coming from the savings, right? So I think when you put in your automation strategy in place, it's important to put it from the growth perspective, right? So what type of growth you can get, right? So how you can potentially reinvest all of this time, how you can reinvest your, an efficiency in the data system into growth of your company. So I think the growth factor is one of the most important here.
Okay. And what about how do you implement automation? What does a project look like to implement it?
Project automation, it's gonna look like your typical data strategy, right? As a leader, I think I'm really a traditional leader, the way how I'm looking into strategy. So I'm always looking is where we want to play. So what are areas of the business? What are data assets? What opportunities we have as a business, where we want to play, right? And usually when you start looking into this, where we want to play, you can get into the really big list, right? So, and this was happening in my experience as chief data officer many times. So you come and you get a list of 500 projects, right? So, and these are all the projects people are doing really independently, right? So the key is going to be to look into this list and fully understand where we are playing, right? So where we're playing from the business perspective, right? Not from technicality of we want to automate this Excel spreadsheet, right? So, but really we want to communicate in a business sense, right? So we would love to improve our engagement with customers, right? So, okay, we want to improve engagement with customers. What does it mean in terms of analytical solutions? What is really helping us to improve, right? Okay, maybe personalization engine, right? So personalization, engagement with customers are helping us to improve our relationships. And after this, you dive into data, right? So you dive in data and saying, okay, what are personalization engine build of, right? So what type of data sets you have? So you're basically using this decision framework, right? And I'm proudly working with one of the companies who is actually building this decision engine, because people tend to start from the data. No, you start from what is your business made of, right? So you improving the personalized experience. So this is the first one, right? So how, like, where we play, and it does require quite of time, right? Because you need to bring people into mind of, we're not building solution, technical solution. We actually resolving business problem, right? People actually really like jumping into technical solution, but bring them back and say, no, like, what is the business problem, right? So spend quite time to understand it. So after you get it, so this is like where you play, you go how you're gonna win, right? And usually in how you win, there are two areas. One area I would say is more technical area, how you win, which is going to require you to look into what is my data architecture, what type of technology I'm using, who should be my technology partner for automation, right? And this is like external view, right? What I'm currently having, right? So can I utilize some components, what I need to add, what I need to change, right? So you basically like making the full assessment of this. Don't forget about your, the aspects of what is your data masters, right? So what is the current governance happening, right? So look at this in full totality of data from, from initiation, moving through the system, getting structured, the access of data scientists or reports, right? So like truly end to end. So this is the first area of how you win, right? So you actually make an investment understanding what needs to change in your technical execution of data. In the second aspect, how you're going to win, it's going to be combination of two factors. One is like, what is your operating model? So how you're going to operationalize this technical system in your business cases, and what you do about people, right? And people might have a different aspects. People might have a, do you have a right talent for enabling this automation? Or for example, what is going to happen with people who actually potentially not going to be doing manual work anymore, right? These are big two pillars, right? So where you play, how you win, and how you win a combination of technology and the operations and people factor.
Okay. Thank you very much, Elena. That was very helpful.